We here on the news with Rick Sanchez like to stay ahead of the curve, as we like to say, and knowing that it's at times like these, times of worrisome news, right? Whether it's wars or, in this case, a potential stock market crash, and a potential worldwide pandemic, that is when we believe, as journalists and as citizens, that we probably should be most vigilant about our individual liberties. Why? Because this has happened before. In fact, it's still happening. You know, John Whitehead, he's a civil liberties attorney. He's the president of the Rutherford Institute and the author of Battlefield America, The War on the American People. Now, you don't have to be that old, by the way, Mr. Whitehead, to know that in our last major crisis, the thing called 9/11, somehow we were the ones, not the people who attacked us. We, as Americans, ended up losing many of our freedoms, Patriot Act, etc. Here we are now in a similar situation where we have a potential pandemic, where our privacy is obviously going to be affected. We have a potential stock market crash. Are you as worried about this, and should we be vigilant, and why?
Well, you have to be vigilant because the way the surveillance state operates now, I call us one nation under surveillance, basically. Everything we're doing is being watched. The NSA is downloading 2 billion emails daily. They're watching everything we're doing. Facebook, your photos at DMV are being given over to the government. At least 50% of Americans now are on a facial recognition database. So we're in a mess, you know, and you have the government's paranoid about veterans coming back from overseas. They have a program called Operation Vigilant Eagle, where they're watching all types of whatever veterans say on Facebook or their emails, and we defend cases where veterans are arrested for that. But at the Rutherford Institute. But yeah, I think we should really be worried because whether or not it becomes a real, whatever you call, virus or scare, there are people in government that take advantage of it. And what I see in the American government today is there's a bit of paranoia about American citizens and people who are opposed to government. Anybody that says, I don't like the way the government's operating, I don't like the president, I don't like Congress, automatically goes on a watch list. And we've had some cases where, again, the police show up with the Department of Homeland Security and drag people out of their home for doing Facebook posts.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard you talk about this, and this is Operation Vigilant Eagle that most people don't know anything about, but I want them to know about it. That's why I'm glad you're here. Tell us about Operation Vigilant Eagle and what it really is.
It's a Department of Homeland Security program, DHS. They're watching returning veterans. Again, one of the classic case we had was with a young Marine named Brandon Robb, who, 26-year-old, decorated Marine, by the way, took weapons away from Al-Qaeda, defused mines for his fellow soldiers, was at his home near Richmond, Virginia, typing one morning after jogging on his home business he was doing. He heard a weird noise outside. He looks out his door, and there's cop cars pulling up outside, and people in black suits with the black ties running toward his home. Comes as a SWAT team and accompanied with federal agents from all the agents, FBI, and they swarmed his home, and he goes, "What's wrong? What did I do?" And he didn't own a weapon, by the way. That was the key. And they said, "We don't like your Facebook post. There's something some of the things you're saying, we're very concerned."
Wow.
Could you step? He stepped out. They grabbed him, handcuffed him behind his back like that, slammed him against the fence, cut his back, took him to the police station. He had a 5-minute examination in a jail cell by a psychiatrist. Mr. Robb, Brandon, was he's a 9/11 truther, and the psychiatrist said because he was that, he obviously was mentally ill. He was put in the mental hospital. We had to file a lawsuit to get him out. What was amazing, though, and I found out about this, is that these are called civil commitments. 20,000 alone in Virginia, where he was at. 1.5 million in America, 1.5 million a year people are disappearing into these hospitals because they're arrested for something they might be saying.
But in the pretext,
this is in America.
The pretext is Vigilant Eagle, that they arrest these people for these types of things.
Operation Vigilant Eagle, yeah, they're watching. And again, I have these veterans contact me. Another case we had where a fellow just did a short email to a friend about some exercises, and they show up and they're going to take him out of the country. They said this is a decorated veteran.
And in this country,
across the country.
But the point is, right? In this country, you have a right to be dumb, you have a right to be stupid, and you have a right to be insulting. And nobody has a right to come and take you to prison
and
or
you
jail.
have a right to say what's on your mind.
To say what you think, as long as you're not. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Good. Hey, listen, we're out of time. Good segment.
We
Let's
have a
get you
First
back.
Amendment that says that. Yes.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I'm glad you're standing up for it. Thank you so much, Mr. Whitehead. We appreciate your time.